one bit of advice you'd give your younger self? Like, what's one thing you'd want them to know?
You're allowed to feel.
Oh my God, it actually makes me cry when you say that, because it is.
Because you are allowed to feel,
Yeah.
and I
actually get emotional
hate
thinking
when somebody tells me that
yeah,
that I don't have a right to feel why I'm feeling. You know,
Becky and Nash, chaos with Becky and Nash.
it's simply saying challenge your thoughts. You're
Yeah.
not just challenging your thoughts, you're also trying to regulate a nervous system that
it's
literally
really
is
dysregulated.
responding. So like, it's like the whole house is on fire and you've got to save the entire world.
Becky and Nash, chaos with Becky and Nash.
I was thinking emotional regulation is quite, I wouldn't say a sensitive topic for me, but it's definitely the most shameful one.
Do you think it's one we should leave till last?
No, I think it's important because it's probably the one for me that I have spent a lot of my life feeling that I didn't have the tools that other people had to regulate myself, and there's been a lot of blame in that, and there's been a lot of shame around that, and actually, and I've faced a lot of criticism around that as well. One, being a woman, too sensitive, dramatic, all of those things.
God,
and I am that, but I think it being, knowing that it's around neurodivergence and being ADHD.
I'm just going to close that because I'm squinting. And it's not turned on.
It's made me like less blaming of myself, and a bit like, I might be those things actually sometimes. That's like our start of the podcast,
isn't it? Dun, dun, dun.
Oh God.
Got some neighbours. Oh, I thought that was my mother-in-law then.
Oh really?
No, it's not. No, she's got a new husband. What are you up to, Maureen?
She was saying hello. She's like, what are you doing?
Give us away. Okay, well then let's officially introduce then. So this week we are going to talk about executive functioning with a focus on emotional regulation.
Or, in my case, emotional dysregulation.
I think that's the thing though, isn't it? That for emotional regulation, for a long time, definitely growing up, definitely in the way the world was, feelings weren't something you talked about.
Yeah.
If you were having a bad day, you just pushed it down and you got on with it.
Yeah. So there was no space, never mind, for feelings.
And like mental health, like what was mental health? Like, it wasn't a thing, was it?
Yeah.
You know, it definitely wasn't something you were taught about at school. It wasn't something that you were given strategies to regulate yourself.
No.
I mean, I had panic attacks started, I think I was 10 when I started having panic attacks. Didn't know what they were for a really long time. At one point I was having tests for epilepsy, and like I was on medications for epilepsy.
You were medicated?
I was medicated for epilepsy, yeah.
God.
Even though like I had all like the EEGs, is it EEGs or ECGs? One of them's for your heart, one of them's for your brain.
It might be EEGs.
Yeah, so I had the whole
ECGs
like where they put all the glue all the things to your head. I had one where I was sedated, so they could test it while I was asleep.
Wow.
And I was medicated for epilepsy, but then they decided it wasn't epilepsy, and at some point along the journey it was panic attacks, anxiety attacks at the age of like 10.
God.
And it's, you know, I think back and I think it's because I didn't know how to regulate. I didn't know what to do with the feelings, and I felt everything so big.
Yeah.
So big.
I definitely feel that. Like everything, well, we know I'm a feel it, and you are too.
Yeah,
you know, like in regards to just...
We had a little, what do you call it, a personality test? Was it a personality test?
Yeah, it's like looking at kind of traits, isn't it, that motivate you, inhibit your work, and
we came out identical. Wasn't a surprise to anyone who knows us in our little work team. But yeah, we were both feel it.
Yeah, because we do feel it. And I think that's, again, when it comes to thinking about emotional regulation, everyone, I mean, I'm so okay to talk about this now because I feel like I've got not only am I secure in myself, I've got people who not only ground me, but also allow, you know, me to be that kind of too much if I need to be. And, you know, oh, Ashley, do you have to kind of go on about it? Or, you know,
yes, I do, actually.
Yes, I do, you know, and I'm going to earn that. And, you know, of course, everybody wants to move through a feeling. But when
I'm really
feelings are
by
intense,
all the buttercups. I'm really sorry.
We need to show them how beautiful it is there.
At Beverly Westwood.
Look at this.
And I'm just sat here thinking
So
I want to
pretty.
go lay down in the buttercups.
But it's freezing.
So it's cold. I want to do that, but they're so pretty.
Yeah,
sorry.
It is really nice.
I'm
around
really sorry,
here.
Ash. I just
It's all right.
interrupted you.
ADHD. Don't have to be sorry. This is what we do. I'd be the same. If a squirrel was on that tree right now, I'd be like, oh, look, a squirrel. And we're watching it. But yeah, I definitely feel that that's something that I feel more secure about, and kind of like, I think I see beauty in it now, actually. Is in like, no wonder I'm so empathic. No wonder I'm so aware of, you know, how people feel. And yes, that sometimes comes at a cost, as most things, that I kind of sometimes feel responsible for others' feelings. I, you know, work in a job that is just about empathy and understanding people, but I also think there's
see
real
that quite a
beauty
lot
in it.
in people. I'm just thinking about other people that I know that are also neurodivergent, that when they experience other people's emotions, they think it's their fault. They think it's about them.
I definitely get that.
What have I done now?
That's part of emotional.
You've done nothing, actually.
Yeah.
But actually, I just rubbish day. And
what's that saying that you got told something once, and you told me, and it was
so
and it was like
it's going back quite a few years now. Going back at least 2016. I used to, if someone walked into a room and they were upset, I think, oh God, what have I done? Or like if they walked into a room, or I walked past them in the shop and I was like, hi, and they just like went, carried on walking, like, oh God, what have I done?
Did I say something
last time I
I
saw them? Have I said something bad about them to someone else and it's got back to them? And I'd like come up with all these scenarios. And I remember this one day, it was in work, and someone had walked in and they'd done exactly that. They'd kind of just walked in and I'd gone, hiya, and they'd just gone, morning. And normally this person was really chatty with me, and I sat there.
You felt it.
And I felt it, and I felt sick. Part of that I know was probably RSD at play. Like, I was like, that rejection. Like, what have I done wrong? What have I done to that person? And I felt so sick. And I remember Sharon, I'm not sure if Sharon's following us. I'll be sending her this, because I don't think Sharon realises how much of an impact this one question has had probably on my life, in a good way, although at the time it felt awful. And so I'm sat there and I'm saying about, you know, well, I must have upset this person because, you know, they've come in and they've done this and she just said, what makes you so important? And I went, what? What makes you so important that you think you can have that effect on everybody that you meet?
Wow. It's profound, isn't it? And but also massively offensive, Sharon.
Yes, Sharon. Like, really triggered me at the time. Like, whoa, listen.
Did you go down like a rabbit hole?
Who does she think she is? That she
can
think she's important. But actually, Sharon, you were completely right, because that, I can honestly say, and I tell people this all the time, it was the best and the worst advice I've ever been given. I'm not sure it was advice, it was a question. But it, for me, was the best and the worst advice ever.
It made you reflect. It made you reflect and think.
So next time somebody, you know, was a bit off, or someone didn't respond in the same way, I was like, maybe they ran out of milk this morning and they've just not had their morning cup of coffee.
And that's what it kind of does, doesn't it? It kind of opens it up to everyone's carrying their own shit, aren't they, really?
And we can challenge that then.
And we can kind of often, like you say, instead of carrying it, which when you go through life, you know, being ADHD, going through life, being somebody that really is sensitive, and we're talking about emotional regulation here, being sensitive and hypervigilant to other people's feelings is part of that dysregulation. You know, so I'm aware of, you know, how my mum's feeling, how my children are feeling, how my friends are feeling. Carrying that all the time is part of one, that big responsibility, but also probably the stress that you carry.
But they're not showing them that you're carrying it all.
Oh,
because
no.
if you do, then it's all those little microaggressions that we got.
Yeah, like
growing up. Oh, you're such a stress head.
Yeah.
Oh God, here she goes again. She's being so
Yeah.
dramatic.
Oh,
Why are
you're
you so sensitive to
Yeah.
everything?
Yeah.
All those constant.
And not even like overthinking. I used to get a lot like,
Yeah.
why do you overthink everything? I'd be like, don't everybody?
Yeah.
Like my brain. If so, like you say in that situation that you've just told, like, oh, she might have like just forgot milk this morning. I love that we use analogies of people forgetting milk, and it really pisses people off.
Well, you want to cook like
it actually might that be that. But in my brain, it'd be like you say, I would make it about me, but also I'd make it about I would have gone through such a, is it me? Have I said something? What did I do? What can I do? And then I'd be thinking about all the other things that person's maybe told me. Oh, it could be this, it could be that. So you kind of, it's almost like you drag all of the other stuff to the forefront of your mind. And that is part of, again, why you might then be wobbly, you know?
Have you ever done any like therapy around thought challenging?
Yeah, loads. I find it really hard.
So
like
CBT. Do CBT.
Yeah.
And I think, so there's two things that really stand out for me. So one of the first times I did CBT, now I'm going back to...
And I love CBT.
It's absolutely got its
place.
Yeah. I love thought challenging for me.
Conscious thought challenging is brilliant.
Something I use constantly throughout the day.
Visually, with people.
So as an example, when I was first introduced to it, I'm going back to when phones were really just becoming a thing.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to be meeting someone from uni at the cinema. We'd agreed we was going to go to cinema on a Friday night. And we were, like, I didn't see her from like the Wednesday onwards. And I texted her on the Thursday and I said, are we still going to cinema? And she didn't reply. And I texted her on the Friday, are we still going to cinema tonight? And she didn't reply.
Oh my gosh.
And
RSD.
Oh, it was horrendous. Like, I felt physically sick. Like, that whole weekend, I could not, like, just do anything other than think about the fact that she obviously didn't like me anymore. I'd obviously done something to upset her. I was obviously not a good friend. I wasn't a nice person. She didn't want to spend time with me. All these thoughts were going round and round and round in my head. And on the Monday, I had an appointment around...
kind of painful.
Oh, it was agonising.
Like, that's the other thing around this thought, you know, that can be like, oh yeah, I've had fallouts. You know, I can hear people already be like, oh yeah, I get it when people do. It's annoying, isn't it? But actually, RSD, like rejection 70, dysphoria, as it is dysphoric. Dysphoric. It is that in that sense, isn't it? Because it's actually painful. Like when people, I've experienced it. Like if I fall out with a friend, like whether that's real or perceived, like I can spiral. Like I literally question. I question who I am. I question if I'm likable. I question what's the point. You know, it's even send it that. And I think, you know, outside, you know, in regards to, I mean, we can do a little bit around rejection sensitivity, dysphoria, but I think it's been really key, especially around emotional dysregulation, to understand that, because for people with ADHD or people that are new, that is such
because
a big
simply saying challenge your thoughts, you're not just challenging your thoughts, you're also trying to regulate a nervous system that is literally really dysregulated. Responding to like, it's like the whole house is on fire and you've got to save the entire world now. That level of extreme
it's like fight, flight and freeze, isn't it? Fight, flight and freeze. You probably got high levels of like cortisol. We're stressed in that moment as well. So in regards to being able to actively
calm yourself down and
actively challenge your thought process, you know, our brains are they're massively faster. Like our processing is boom, boom, boom. It's so quick. And so actually to then be emotionally dysregulated, calm enough to be conscious in your thinking. I suppose it's the whole, when people used to say count to 10. I used to laugh at that as a strategy. You know, if you cross and people have ever said count to 10, I'm like, I think, you what? I couldn't even count. Like the red mist is there.
But then so going back to like this thought challenging and CBT, like I said, I love CBT and thought challenging. I can't challenge the fact that I must be the worst friend in the world, when in that moment my body thinks it's in survival and I need to regulate that first. So grounding, simply counting to 10, not helpful, but finding what works for you to ground
100%
is essential. So for me, I use the counting down from 5, but with the 5 things that you can see. So like right now I've got a photograph here. I can see my steering wheel. I can see Ash. I can see the little red square inside
on the camera.
How many was that?
4.
And I can see all the buttercups. Cups. 4 things that you can hear. I can hear Ash squishing on a squishy. I can hear the cars going past. I can hear that I keep hissing. I don't know why I'm hissing. I feel like I'm hissing in my teeth when I'm talking.
We're lisping.
Another thing I can hear Ash breathing.
Breathing.
And then you've got 3 things that you can touch. So for me, like, having something that's quite sensory, really helpful.
We've got squishies in the car.
But I also find, rather than like reaching out for things, what I try and do with something I can touch is, what are other parts of my body touching? So am I aware that my shoulders,
the back of the chair,
can feel the inside of my jacket? Can I feel that, that my toes feel a little bit sweaty in my shoes?
Yeah.
Because if I just go, oh, well, I've touched the steering wheel and I've touched Ash's jumper and I've touched that box of tea bags.
It's not grounded.
It's not grounded me.
And again, it takes real skill. And these are the things with that understanding. And this is what, us doing this is about. Because one, you'll hear lots of these labels, these buzzwords, but in regards to strategies to support, that's really bespoke to you. And having that understanding, definitely, like I've, if after this, I know my kids will have something to say, for sure. But there'll be a lot of people that will have experienced me, friends, family, very dysregulated, and now I know I have been able to, and you're always on that journey, don't get me wrong, like, that's something as an adult, you're on a journey to find ways that work, and it changes, sometimes you haven't got the things. I mean, I love walking, like walking for me is grounding. Like, I know if I'm overwhelmed and things like that, and that's nature, it's the same thing. I can see things, I can touch things, I can smell things.
Go tasting anything that you find on your hike, because that works.
That's a whole new kind of hike.
You missed out the 2 things that you can smell and the 1 thing that you can taste. So be careful what it is you're tasting and you smell, especially if you're out on the hike.
Ashley's eating a load of red berries or something.
I was thinking more along
I know you were.
The journey, if a lot of people are taking their dogs for a walk and stuff.
No, but it is. And and it's not about doing it all, isn't it? Like, you don't even have to go through all of that grounding to experience levels of regulation. But I definitely know. I mean, I was talking.
I do.
Do you? You have to see it all the way through.
I have to see it through. I don't know if that's a little bit for me, a bit of a routine thing.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things I have found that if I don't complete it, I think I'm
not
calm.
As regulated.
I think I'm calmer than I am. I've got to
Cat's like therapy all of a sudden.
You need to do the whole grounding.
I need a couch.
Get a surfer, put your feet up.
Oh, geez.
But maybe that is why you're struggling a little bit then, because you're not completing the grounding.
Seeing it through. And I think, that's something that I probably always want to just assume that I'll do it. I think that's still
it as well. That's another ADHD.
I'm such a rush through it, and it probably is that. It's probably like a lot of impatience to, like. I mean, for me, it's like meditation, like clear your head. I mean, meditation for me would feel like hell. Would feel like hell. The noise, my brain, to get it empty. I could cry actually thinking about how to get it empty. And actually, if I had to consciously do that, I would find that so very hard. And credit to all of those people that potentially are neurodivergent and can meditate. It is a master skill. I completely, that is why, it's the Dalai Lama kind of vibe, because there's just no way. And I think the pressure for me to do that would probably overwhelm me more.
I think that's where mindfulness, probably because mind is full, but being actively aware of what you're making your mind full of in that time, because we can't empty it. It's always full.
Funny story, I actually once went to yoga too, and they tried to do like some meditation stuff, and maybe it was kind of across it, and I remember them saying like, just imagine you're a fish and floating through. Well, I was thinking
fish out of water.
I was thinking of like a trout. I was thinking, I ain't no graceful fish. I'm like some kind of like, like, and I honestly was sat there thinking, everyone was really calm. They were getting into it, and I thought, I'm going to piss myself laughing. Either that or piss myself because we're doing yoga poses.
Downward dog.
literally like. So so in regards to, I mean, we are not doing great here giving you strategies, are we?
But, yeah, we are.
But it's also to try.
Find what works for you.
It's find what works for you.
Don't assume, because, you know, Becky said she can do 5 to 1 and the things she sees, smells, hears and all that it works, because it won't work for some people.
Yeah.
Maybe if you finish it, that might help.
I'll let you know. I'm actually going to probably practice that a little bit better. What's one thing, so growing up with, like, if we think about us kind of growing up, not having a diagnosis because we were both kind of diagnosed as adults, around emotional regulation or dysregulation that we've experienced, what's one bit of advice you'd give your younger self? Like, what's one thing you'd want them to know?
You're allowed to feel.
Oh my God, it actually makes me cry when you say that, because it is.
Because you are allowed to feel, and I
actually get emotional thinking
when somebody tells me that that I don't have a right to feel why I'm feeling. You know, when they try and shut me down.
It's so great that you say that, because I literally now, in so many parts of my life, like, it's felt like I wasn't allowed to do that in relationships and stuff like that. And I literally now have like it's not a manifestation, like a mantra. And I'll be like, oh yeah, well done. Oh, I haven't seen that. Manifest that shit. Well, I've got a mantra. Show them that is so cute.
It's just sits at the top of my car. Oh, can you see it?
Hopefully. Can you see it?
Yeah, can you see it?
Manifest that shit. Love it. But I literally now will say, my feelings matter. Like, I'll mantra it to say, like, my feelings matter too. Yeah. And that, you know, because I think I'll always be a big feeler. Big feeler. I'm a big feeler, and I don't care. I need a t-shirt with that on. Maybe feeler. Don't wear it in public.
I feel things.
This is going so wrong. I feel things, or I'm a big feeler. But yeah, I think that'll be something I'm always going to be. But in regards to it being too much for people, or, you know, being overwhelming for me, that's a journey that, you know, a lot of people are on to kind of, but I refuse to shut that down now. Like, if I feel emotional, I'm okay. Like, I've got the things that I need. Like, I had a bad day last week, and I remember just thinking, like, this is what I need to feel. And I went walking, and I kind of, like, had a cry, and I had a think, and, you know, and I would also do that with other people as well now, to be like, I'm not too much, you know, that's just, I feel things. There's massive pros to me being that kind of person. Like, I'm the person that people come to with problems and tears, and because I can deal it, I can contain them, I can validate them, you're all right. But I've not always felt that for myself. I've been that for other people, but I've not always had that for myself. Whereas now I'm like, I've built my little.
Someone gives you that safety to do that yourself. Yeah,
instead of going like, you know, put that away, can't deal with it, or oh God,
I've got time for that
right now. Oh, why are you so dramatic? The
Stupid
dramatic one.
Just get over it.
I think it's the dramatic.
You just need to fix
labels and like crazy, and you know, I'm easily frustrated over things. You know, we talked about, are you stubborn last week? You know, some of those things really do add to my dysregulation, because I'll be like, but it's not right.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I get cross and I get passionate about things. And I'm not going to apologise it for anymore.
I'm just thinking, going back to CBT, apologies to all you lovely, fantastic CBT people out there. Which I will say, one of my besties is a CBT therapist, and she's amazing. And
yeah,
I absolutely value. We've had this conversation. I've had this conversation with her before, because she knows that I absolutely value CBT. But if the person doing the therapy isn't neuro-informed, what you end up with is a space where that person experiences shame, essentially. And I'll give you an example. I was at a stage where I was having, again, CBT. I value that space to talk and work through stuff. I don't think therapy is something we should be embarrassed about or ashamed about. But I remember going and the thought that we were challenging was, I'd been asked to support somebody with something, and I really got the vibe from that person that they didn't like me. And that made me feel, quite anxious about then, offering them the support, because I got the impression very strongly that they didn't like me. And the therapist said to me, well, what evidence have you got that she doesn't like you? And trying to explain all of those little nuances of
that where
the way she looks at me, the tone that she uses, her body language.
I remember we're hypersensitive to all, like we read, I can read people very quickly.
Yeah.
I might not always be right, but I believe I am.
I fully believe, 99% sure, that person didn't like me.
Yeah.
And what she was telling me I needed to basically challenge was that I had no evidence to prove that she didn't like me. And I went away after that session and I cried, because I do what I do so well because of how I feel. Because I can walk into a room and I can read that room in a millisecond. I know.
And we're not always likable. And we're okay.
But that was the thought.
Yeah.
And I went back to her the next week and I said, I had a lot of shame.
Yeah.
I felt too much after that session, because what you unintentionally, the message I received last week from that session was, your instincts
are wrong.
Your ability to read people
are off.
Your recognition of all those little micro behaviours, they're all wrong. And if they're all wrong,
and what about everything else?
What about everything else in your life? What about the fact that you rely on all those things? Everything you do. And so I said, I've thought about it. And actually, I didn't need to challenge that thought at all. I did not need evidence that she does or doesn't like me. The thought I needed to challenge was,
so what?
So what?
So what?
So what if she didn't like me?
Yeah. I suppose that's the part of you, isn't it? That carry, and everyone could probably resonate.
Worst thing about
her not
liking you.
And it's the same with doing this, isn't it? Yeah. Is in like this, I've had thoughts about sharing stuff, talking, like we're quite boundaried, aren't we? And we always do spend time afterwards kind of reflecting and containing about what we put out into the world.
Editing.
Yeah.
2 hours it took last week.
Yeah. So that side of stuff. But I think there will always be kind of, that journey that I've been on to get to there, where, I have been aware that I've not always been liked, or I've said things, or we also have been around a lot of people, not just, we work with people. That's been part of our careers to kind of get us to where we are. So, it is a difficult one to balance, but I think that, again, that understanding and then having the tools to kind of support that. I mean, we're the worst in things like, you get an email that's, can we speak tomorrow? Or I'll speak to you about this next week. Like, things like that, again, it seems like nothing, but it's like things like that. Or if a friend said, I'll tell you about it later, or you said something to me today, but I'll talk to you later about it. We can't necessarily sit in that space because it's so
now. Everything's now for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
There isn't a tomorrow.
Because if
those feelings are now.
It's so funny. Gary said to me, I can't think what I was stressing over actually this week. What was it? It was something or nothing, but it was something that was kind of like, you know, and we were driving, and he said to me, "Why don't you just close it for now, right? Not put a lid on it.
What's it in a box?"
But he kind of said, "Why can't you just leave it and then kind of revisit tomorrow?" And I just kind of like, you know, like, you don't get.
Sorry, Gary,
but
no.
And Gary is learning about my brain, and really well, thankfully. Like, he's so learning about that. But I was like, I just physically can't, like, I can't mentally, not physically, can't mentally.
Sorry, Gary. Now I'm seeing that Gary thinks, "Oh, listen at Becky."
No, he knows. He knows, because he's like, it's because our brains are all so different. So, you know, in his mind, he can kind of like, let's leave that to. I mean, he'd be someone that probably would be like, you know, let's leave that argument, and there's also other things that fit in with that. Like, people have arguing styles, you know, people have communication styles, people have love languages, you know, people have trauma, you know, all of that stuff as well, along with, you know, neurodiversity is, you know, what makes people so very complex and intricate. But in that situation, I was like, no, I have to kind of come up with a solution now, and if not, I will, you know, I'll be uncomfortable in that, really. It actually feels, and it's the same with, like you say, the emails. You know, if someone says speak tomorrow, I'll have thought of 20,000 different scenarios. Some of them could be positive, but often not. Often not, because, you know, again, when that core value, and people with ADHD often have had like so many thousand microaggressions because of how they experience the world than other children, never mind other adults.
20,000 more negative messages by the age of 12.
Yeah, you're too much. You're too sensitive. Why can't you just move on? Why are you stubborn?
I can't remember the professor who professed this.
But it's that stuff, isn't it?
Like, his name, because
if we think of, you know, all of the things that we are overthinking about because of how our brain is wired. And then from that, it affects your self-esteem, it affects your relationships.
Dr. William Dodson
is
at the age of 12, children with ADHD receive approximately 20,000 more negative or corrective messages than their neurotypical peers. How absolutely devastating is that?
Because those corrective messages are, you know, why can't you sit still? Why can't you just move on for things?
Be quiet.
Why can't
it's easy?
Why do you have to be so stubborn? Why do you have to be so selfish? Why do you have to be
so everything an issue?
Yeah, and I think it's that, isn't it? Like, and we're not saying that, again, none of this is to minimize people that are neurotypical, that they don't experience those things. They will. But in regards to the overthinking, how it hits your, you know, core person, your self-worth, how, you know, self-esteem is how you see yourself in the world. And if you're received 20,000 more negative comments than your peers, what's the likelihood that you won't succeed in progression in your education? What if you won't believe in your achievements and your abilities? What if you can't create friendships or relationships because you believe you're not worth it, or you're too emotional, or too it's all of that, you know. And this is about advocacy as well. This is about hopefully people hearing, you know,
I'm just thinking, like,
you can overcome those things.
I don't know if you can see it, like, but at the minute, like, I'm very aware that my squishy is about to burst. There's a reason I'm talking about this. So if you can just see, like, here, it's starting to separate. Okay, now when I got this, it was beautiful, and it stayed in a lovely little cube shape. It had no fluffy bits on it or anything like that. But I've now been playing with this for a couple of weeks, and I pull at it, I grind, like I'm grinding and pulling, I'm stretching, and that hole is getting bigger and wider, and it's separating. And at some point, I'm going to pull it, and it's going to break. And it ain't broke because of that one pull.
No,
it's
all of those
broke
little things.
From all of those little tiny pods, stretches. But on the day that it breaks, I'm like, oh,
you are dramatic.
I've broken it.
Yeah.
You know, and
someone's like, get over it.
Get over it. Yeah, you know, these things happen.
Yeah.
But that's what's happening with us, is with our kids.
It's cumulative.
It is.
Yeah, it builds.
It happens over time.
Yeah. And it makes
not one off.
Becky and Ash, chaos with Becky and Ash. We'll meet you there, Becky and Ash. Hands in the air, it's on the floor. Still making it fair.